What's happening, everybody? I'm Growmaster. Welcome back to more Hydroneer, and I'm back at the original place, and we're basically filling up on water and everything, going back to where we were originally. My goal was to try to find some treasures. This is also my microphone completely crapped out on this, so I'm having to do this as a secondhand recording. So all this was recorded earlier. I spent actually like most of my day on this. It was a lot of work I put into this, on the digging and stuff. I've been working several days on this cave in particular. Immediately got myself stuck, of course. I love the unstuck feature. It's probably one of the best things. But yeah, so this is probably the smallest site of all, and I went crazy on trying to dig up as much as I could underneath. Basically just trying to clear it all out. And you can see most of the water. So I dug and I dug and I dug, and I basically got most of the chunk out. I worked on my little skull little bit thing too. Put a little light back there, and I think it looks cool. I mean, you can't see it too well, so I turned some more lights on because it's dark down there. I can see, but I don't know how well it does on the recording. I assume it's probably not the best when it goes to YouTube. YouTube's always like darkening videos. So, just turning on all the different lights and everything. It definitely helps down here. But, yeah, it's quite the challenge to dig up this much. And getting the skull to look like a skull, I felt like I did a good job. It's not the best, but it looks a little bit like a skull. So I did the best that I could, but I dug all this stuff up. And I started up at the top, and then I started working down to the bottom, because I was like, well, what if there's something down here? Sure enough, this was like right there, the last place. Probably one of the last places that I dug up. Because I got all that stuff back there, and then worked my way from the back to the front. So this was like literally the last area right there that I gathered. It was... it took me days, several days of doing several hours at a time of just doing this, like when videos were processing and stuff like that, where I was just literally just using the pickaxe to clear all that stuff out. But we got a treasure, so time to go take it, put it on the thing with the other stuff. Since we'd already gotten the treasure from the last place, figured, you might as well take this over here now, but we have 2 of them now. Nothing really changed as far as I could tell, so it must be all 4. I'm not even sure what's going to open up. Like, I don't really see... There's not, like, anything noticeable as to if there's something is just going to open a door somewhere or what. But, yeah, so... I have the one from here. I have the one from the place we were just at. So, my assumption is it's going to be the other places. But I hadn't been back here in so long, like... This place is pretty much dug up. I thought about digging it up more, but you can see like the sides on the left, the sides on the right. I dug all the way back to the back side. So there could be more here, I don't know. There could be more at the one in the back there too. But I don't know if there would be, so I'm thinking here we're good. Like we're done here. We could just move on to somewhere else. So back at the main like place that I feel like I spent a good chunk of my time building. We have access to all the way down there. And, I mean, digging with the pickaxe would be forever, so I'm figuring we're going to use this. I want to start messing with this some more again, because I kind of got it to work. But I feel like... I mean, I originally was thinking I'm just going to completely take out all the dirt here. Just remove all the dirt and then just kind of back up. But, of course, the first thing that happens is I get stuck. Literally, the first thing that happens is I get stuck. So... I start thinking about right away, is this really going to be a good idea? I mean, we can start moving, it starts working, I'm like, okay, I can clear cut all of this, because I don't know where the treasures are. The first treasure was not at the bottom, the second treasure that we just found was at the very bottom, like in the water. That's why it took me so long to find it. So I'm like, well, I'll just pull it all the way back to here, why not? It's maybe the best way to do it. But, I mean... It's pretty deep right there, so I feel like, originally I felt, anyways, I kind of started realizing right here that this would be the best way to do it. We can just clear out the whole thing. But you get stuck a lot like this. You get stuck in place and everything, and you can use the unstuck to get out. But this time of, trying to turn which didn't work so well because of the other vehicles in the way. You don't want to have another vehicle in the way, that's for sure. Because then stuff just starts going crazy. Like, the bugs in this game humor me greatly, because everything kind of freaks out sometimes. So I started to think that maybe this would be the better way to go. It's just, because we already have this hole right there, plus we need to be in the center of the actual place. And I'm like, you know, like if I go in the center, if I go just clear cutting across, it's gonna take a crazy amount of time. I could try to go over to the one that's straight over there in front of us, but the problem with that is it doesn't quite, it goes to the edge, so we're not going to be able to get there. But with this here, by the way, this is probably one of the best things to have, like ever, because you can just sit here and just fill up your tank so quickly, other than getting stuck. I get stuck a lot. You crouch, you get out of this, you get out of most of those situations, but yeah. Everything here is still good too as far as the system goes. I haven't been here for a while. I've been over at that other site with the water underneath for quite a bit, so I've actually been below the ground for so long. It's like, the sun burns my eyes. But no, it's been quite a long time since I've turned the system on. I figured I would dump all the dirt since I was here to see exactly how much gold and stuff we got from it. So I turned it on. This is just from the topsoil, so it's not like the best, you know, on resource-wise. And then I realized, oh wait, before I go out there, we have to make sure to turn on the actual things to the right sorters, because every time you start it up, you gotta set it. And even when you even if you just restart, go to the main menu and come back in, you gotta make sure to set it. Which I have totally made the mistake of not doing way too many times. But this right here, I figured, you know, I like this because it takes the dirt in there, it immediately sorts it out, and you can actually see on the tray, like, on the conveyor belts right there, exactly what you're getting. The only downside to doing this is the dirt will sit there a lot of times. I mean, this was probably the best go that I'd had. But right there, it's already starting to combine. When it combines, it gets up to the top, it gets stuck there, and then all the other dirt chunks behind it end up getting stuck there too. And sometimes go into the conveyor, which just goes all the way to the very end. Like, I didn't want that to happen, but yeah, it just takes it all the way through and just puts it at the very end if you don't catch it quick enough. But I am very grateful for you. They told me about the E button a while back, because that, you can only just place the big dirt chunk in there and just have it can go through like that. It's so much better. But the one thing, of course, that always ends up happening is the lag. I'm actually amazed, by the way, on how well that system was. I think that's what I was saying at this point, too, was I was amazed on how well that system worked. But a lot of people talked about smelting it while I was sitting here, and I wanted to test it. I'm pretty sure I tested it before, but it may have been so long ago that I don't remember. I don't even think it was a test. I think it just accidentally happened. But you can't, is what I was, pretty sure and under the assumption of. So I'm like, I'm going to try a new setup here. So I put both of the cauldrons up, and I'm just like, I'll just throw the actual, just throw these in here. The one problem, of course, is you have to get it at just the right angle. The gold's actually going to fall in there. But it doesn't quite set down on a flat surface like all the rest of the stuff does. Of course, I forgot which one was which. Which was that one. And then place that one there too. So we have all this stuff, and hopefully it'll smelt, but I want to say it's like I did it by accident, where I put it in there, and one of them's getting smelted. And all that ended up happening was the gold nuggets got stuck inside, like it would cook some of it up and not all of it. So yeah, it's darkness. I'm not used to the darkness because I've been in the cave for so long. So I have to actually pay attention and try to get stuff going. Which I almost wonder though, it's like if the lighting from those is causing things, because it's creating a lot more shadows, so it's a lot more for the game to have to process. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I have the issues with the frame rate when I have so many little pieces as well. But yeah, I'm still on the concept that this is going to be a good idea. Like I could do it. It's just going to be a little finicky, a little weird, but we can grind this whole thing. I was just trying to think of like a section. Maybe I could just get like a chunk out of a super deep area, and then I could go and it'd be good. But then we come across the same problem of trying to go in a straight line with this thing. Feels like it's almost impossible. Like You end up hitting one of these little bumps in your tracks because it doesn't quite go the full length, and you get stuck just like this. Decided to just... Best way I figure is probably just to go right here. Especially since we need to get in the centerpiece. I mean, if we need to get in the center and we start from over there, we may not get in the center. And that's where I found all the treasures so far, so I figured this is my best bet. So, I started working on this, and went to town on it for a little while. Ended up with, a bit more, right here. Goes all the way down to bedrock. It's a pretty big hole. That's like my unstuck spot, though. It's like unstuck right up there, and then come up, and then everything's good. But, yeah, like, fueling the thing up is the one thing that kind of stinks. Because I had this set up here where all the water goes. But this is a lot of bedrock dirt, by the way. That was, I think, my big thing here, is I wanted to see exactly how much money we could earn with that using the bedrock. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then if I unstick that thing when I have no fuel, I get stuck in that wall right there. So I can't actually get out, so I quit the game. And unfortunately, what I learned when I quit the game, the molten stuff that's in here disappears when you come back in. So anything that's molten just goes away. There was gold nuggets still in there, so that's what the melted stuff is now. It actually did not melt everything down, which I didn't think it would, but I wasn't 100% sure. But we're good. We're good, right? There's a little bit of gold loss, which kind of sucks. I don't know how much it actually was. But then, yeah, so some of this is actually the... which you can see the big chunks coming out. Some of it's the bedrock dirt. I thought it was all bedrock dirt, but then I remembered in order to get in there, that's as deep as I did with this thing, it took me a while. Like, it was definitely faster on removing the dirt than it was with the pickaxe. But I kept getting the dirt on the top up there. You can see like the little slash that kind of goes in off to the left. It was because of that. It was because of I couldn't get in there on a flat surface, so I kind of went to the side and I got all the top dirt, and the top dirt's what actually filled up the conveyor. So it's not like a good amount of gold. Like that was just little small chunks there. It was like the first two were big chunks, and then after that, it just didn't want to go as well. And yeah, it's like the one downside of this is simply just, it's like I kind of almost have to let like time go between, because if I don't, then yeah, it just creates problems. But then comes the fun stuff of like, okay, we've unloaded the truck, so now I gotta, of course, turn off the system. It's one thing I always make sure to do. I never leave my system on any longer than it has to actually be on. That way I don't have to like sort through a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, how does the gold look? It didn't look good. The big chunks don't like to go in there quite so well, which is slightly unfortunate. I am looking forward to the update that's coming out. The developer has his own dev blog on YouTube, and he was showcasing. So he's been showcasing some of this stuff, but the things I'm the most excited about, and I'm going to be doing a new world when it comes out, is there is yeah, and then I forgot to set the things. So unfortunately, one of the little runs I did when I went down there to gather dirt, and I stopped doing it just because it was so tedious, and I have so much money it doesn't matter. But I forgot to change where things went, so it all piled up in there, and it's been happening for a while. So there's little small pieces in there too. But yes, the developer's adding a bunch of building stuff. There's a whole bunch of building stuff coming. There's a whole bunch of little other small intricate pieces coming. There's a funnel. There's a funnel coming, which is awesome. That's going to be cool, so I can actually sort things a little bit better. But I've dug up so much of the world already. I kind of want to start from scratch. And I already have so many small pieces here and there. Some of the building pieces are like 4 walls that are currently in the game size. I think. I'm not 100% sure. This is just what it looked like. So that's going to make a difference, I feel. Which is going to be awesome. And then there is also like... I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff being added. Like, it's an impressive amount of stuff being added. So I don't know how much longer I have in this world. I don't know if we're going to find all the artifacts. That's one of the reasons why I started trying today. To see if we can get all the artifacts before then. But... yeah, I'm making sure to, by the way, I'm gonna sell these things, so I'm making sure to pull out the largest ones of these. So that way, we have at least some there, and I'm like, it's probably good. It kind of looks like a little flower on the ground, too. Kind of humorous. But, yeah, I figured just to go throw that on the truck, sell those things off, be less little small parts. I had to go buy spanners. because stuff broke down at one point. And I don't have any here, because I took them all the other place. But yeah, basically, stuff isn't melting in there, you can see. Stuff that was already in there isn't melting. Even though there is melted stuff in there, so you can't actually smelt it all at once. The one nice thing I would say about this, though, is you dump it out, you put it back in, and it very, very quickly smelts back up into another bar. So, I mean, it's not that bad. Like there you go. It's already done. And I feel like there was a good amount in there of the big chunks because you could see them all floating and everything. But yeah, doing that alleviates the frame rate, or it makes the frame rate so much nicer. And this is one of the reasons why I figured I'm gonna refresh my world so I can like take the knowledge that I have now and then set it up later. And I realized, oh, wait, yeah, I'm picking everything up and I'm like, oh god, no, I'm cleaning. I'll do all the cleaning later. I do a lot of cleaning off the freaking recording when I'm not there because, oh yeah, I make a big mess a lot. Like, there's so many little pieces all over the place. Yeah, yep, nope, just going straight back out. Yeah, turn off the system. Did I really just leave it running that whole time? I always said I turn it off really often. How did I leave it on for that long? Yeah, there we go. Okay, I just gotta refill. Which, this, like I said, is probably one of the best things. I feel like it is also the loudest flippin' thing. Like, the loudest flippin' thing. I make sure to turn that off every time I'm done because of that. It's crazy on how loud all of those dripping is, just because there's so many of them. But yeah, this is the trick every time I come in here, is I have to try to figure out how to get this thing in here without getting, not getting stuck, but getting, well yeah, I guess stuck like this. This is pretty much how it happens almost every time, is I try to stay down there as long as I can to get as much out as I can before I unstuck, because when I try to go down, it doesn't quite stay there. So it's like you kind of, I'm like, meh, maybe trying to come from the other side would be better, or going backwards, because I hadn't tried that. But it's like trying to just, you can't just drive straight in there. You flip over every single time, like every single time. So there's just not it's not viable as a way to get down. Especially when you have to do this. And there's just, like, it's a 25-point turn to turn around sometimes. It's such a big machine. It's so heavy. And then immediately flip over. Like, this is pretty much how it goes. Good chunk of the time I come down there. I get lucky, and then it'll finally go the right direction, but this is probably about 25 of the tries. Is I make it like, I only got like 2 or 3 feet. Just kind of get down there. And then I'm stuck. I cleared some of this stuff out with the pickaxe, but not a lot. Most of it was done using this. But I would say this is still significantly faster to get down there than it is to do the pick. Like, I've cleared already as much this time as I did in probably maybe 2 hours last time. Just by using this machine. And it was still, I don't know. I don't know how much time. I put a lot of time in this game already. I've had so much fun with it. But some of the stuff like this, trying to get down to the treasures and everything. Holy crap. Holy crap. And it's like this too, when you get stuck. You just can't do anything. You're just stuck in place. Waiting to get through. Figured, I'll just dig this up. And we'll just fall off. Whether or not it works is all entirely up to the game. And you can, by the way, I did notice, you can get the dirt. Like, you see the dirt kicking up right now? It's actually below the bedrock. So, you can technically get dirt that must be outside the world. Yep, and then I got stuck again. And I tried and I tried. I think I tried for a few attempts before finally getting it in there and making it so I could actually start digging again. Not a whole lot of room in the beginning, but I figured, you know, we'll work on digging through here. It works. Like, you can move around in there. If I ever get stuck, I have myself that unstuck. I can get out and go grab a bucket. Or if I run out of water too, is an option too. Get a bucket, fill up on water here. I actually loosened a little spot right here so I could fill it up. And yeah, then I just take it down, fill it up a little bit, get it to work. But I realized that this system is not going to work. Like, I need to set up something else. So I went to set up a full system for the water and fuel here. So I kind of got it fully set up. I forgot to put all the floors down, of course, because I set it up and I was trying to test down there whether or not it worked. And somebody said I actually had a couple comments about it that I could do this. I actually had these things set up here for a while. Like right in here, this whole system's been set up since I built this thing. But I don't like it as much. Like the roofs at the other place, I like more. It's just more as of an aesthetic thing. I like, making things look as nice as I can. And while it does put them away, I don't know, the roof thing made it so it's like there's even a... Like, my mind was happy because there's even a way it worked. But it drips down there, so I could fill it up while I'm actually down below. So, I don't want to bring this thing up because trying to get down, like you saw before, is such a pain in the butt. So, by doing... I keep saying so. I'm sorry. My brain. It always breaks my brain to have to do this. But yeah, like, I don't have to do this, like what I'm doing right now, which is like a 25-point turn to turn around to try to go in there. But we have the dirt, too. I'm like, let's try to see what kind of... I wanted to know if there was a weight thing. I don't know if it actually has anything to do with your weight. The more dirt you have in your actual drill machine. I don't know what the heck you call this thing. I am totally drawing a brain fart on it right now. But yes, your drill machine. If there's dirt in there, I don't know if it makes it so it goes slower. It feels like it's super heavy, but it always feels like it's super heavy. Like, yeah, and then I just straight up got stuck. I forgot about that. Yeah, so I have it all set up. And have everything turned on. This is the dirt that was from the down at the bottom. And you can see right away just like the massive chunks of gold that are just lobbed. And then for some reason, I'm not sure why, because I know all the dirt was from down there. It's kind of stopped making large chunks. Or not large chunks. I mean, obviously you can see there's large dirt chunks everywhere. I was like, no, don't go in there. Just drop them off to the side. But yeah, it doesn't give you stuff sometimes. I have still most of the pressure there. It's just not giving me like the big chunks anymore. I don't know why that happens. It's so strange. So I figured I'd burn through all these to see if we end up getting good ones. And of course, the first thing that happens is they turn into large chunks. Which, my only thought as to why that ends up happening is there's not enough pressure going through the conveyor to move it faster. That one actually went in. That's nice. And so it's like, I think maybe the conveyor slows down, and that's what catches, but yeah, right there again. Like, I just had bad luck this time of getting it to actually not get stuck. But at least the nice thing about this is you can actually see how well it's doing, I guess, is the way. I don't know if that's right. It's not how well it's doing as much as you can see how much you're getting when I'm looking straight at it and putting it in that way. Which doesn't seem like a whole lot. Oh no. That's right. And immediately I realized that it's just in trouble. So, I think it was around this point that I'm like, you know what? There's got to be a pressure issue. Maybe things ran out. That one was still there, but that one's empty. Luckily, I brought those from our other place. No, those weren't in our other place. They were just down in a little valley here. I remember I dug those out just before I started recording, or it was during recording and I cut it out. I'm not sure. But we already had that down in our mind. But yeah, did all that, plugged it all in. Hoped it would work better. Of course, by this point in time, I'd pretty much gone through all of my dirt. So, the conveyor system did look like it was running faster. Yeah. I was like, alright, so I'm going to go back to the digging. Underneath the ground and everything, getting stuck. And hopefully we can find a treasure or something. You can see all the gold piling up too, which is just... yeah, and then I did that. Oh god, that's like the most brutal part of it all, is that. I just broke my brain as to what I did. I was like, why did I do this? Finally, after so much digging, which I'm sorry that it's so dark, because it's underground. Finally, after so much digging, you can see I found one of the artifacts. I was super happy about it. And I was like, I'm just going to stick myself. I'm just going to go and I'm going to place it right here for now. It seems like a great place to leave it, because Yeah, this is like probably, I don't know. This is about 6 hours. This is about 6 hours in. You can see how much I dug. I got so much of this stuff cleared out. I was trying to. I actually found out I could carry this stuff around too. I didn't realize that when it was turned on, it was basically like just a lamp. But you can see the other lamp back off in the distance back there. Like, it's pretty big. It's probably almost the size of the entire thing that I dug. The entire cave last time that I dug by hand, which took me several days to do. This just was about, it was maybe a third of the time. It still took a while because I'd get stuck. I'd have to unstick. Then I'd have to get back in here, which would take several tries. There was one time where I got in here, like, perfect. The first try. Just like, I landed and it flipped me over for no reason at all. And was like, alright, that works. But yeah, like, just hanging out, it was up there. So, I'm kind of glad it went that way. I don't know if there's going to be another one here. I feel like the next place I'll check is the one place we haven't been. And I'm going to probably do about the same thing that I did with this. Where I came here and just started searching stuff. And I'm hoping that I'll get it done before the patch comes out. Because when the patch comes out, like I said, I'm going to be starting a brand spanking new world. A brand new world. Because this right now, like, we've already dug so much in here, which, by the way, this down here is a freaking phenomenal function. Like, it works so well. Every once in a while, I'll do the little freak out mode where it'll just flip itself over for no reason at all. But, I mean, clearing stuff out down there, you just kind of clear up that, back up, clear it all up. Everything is good. Like, it works so well, you can go across the ceiling and just clear it. Like, it's really nice. You don't have to worry about falling into a hole because you're already down in the hole, and you're only clearing like your level and up. So you can just back up and do all that stuff. That was all the dirt, by the way. Specifically went this time, and I made sure that all the dirt from this was the dirt that was bedrock. So it's all the stuff that is directly below the ground. And a little bit maybe like right at the ground level. But it's all the stuff that's technically below the ground that I dug up. So I'm like, if I'm going to get the most amount of gold from any sort of these loads or anything like that, it's got to be based off this. This is the biggest downside though of coming up here. Is when I come up here, is it takes forever to turn this thing around. Like, it just, every time I get on this, I'm like, oh god, it's like turning a T-Rex around an arc. Every time, that's what my brain immediately goes to. Because it's just such a pain in the butt to turn around. Because it's such a huge machine. And the drill would be so flippin' heavy on it. Like, yeah, I could totally understand it being like that. But yeah, I'm like, alright, we're gonna finally, I've already gone through so many. I've already, I can't do the auto smelting. But I've already gone through so much that I gotta see if this will have an effect. All the crystals are good. Everything is functional. So we should have the most amount of quality that we can get. If I actually get in the right spot. But the most amount of quality that we can get. And if I only shoot a couple at a time, they shouldn't back up into the thing. And you can see, there's some big chunks that come out. Like, there is bedrock soil, like, that works just like if you were to dig it yourself. But then it goes back to this, where you can't even really notice the chunks of gold going by. Like, there's some, but there's so few. Like, it's almost sad on how few there are. Like, there's the big chunk there. You can see that. And all of it's active. There's like a small one in there. I thought maybe that was the cause, but no. I got one of these massive chunks from somewhere. I don't even remember where I got it from. I think it was like one of the random loads that I brought up here from when I got unstuck. So I figured that's good. I mean, it should have been good in the first place anyways. Oh, and then, yeah, it hit me. I actually had the thing turned on. So I could have been losing stuff from that. Because I don't know if it's like, there's all those pipes there to going to our water system for our car. I don't know if it counts those. Because technically, the water's flowing through the system, but it's dead-ended at the other spot. So it shouldn't, I wouldn't imagine it counting it at all. It still could. But yeah, we started going through some more, and the game freaked out for some reason. I assume it's because of how much gold and everything we have at the moment. But, again, it's just not a whole lot of big chunks. It's all these small little pieces. So I don't know. It's like if I'm going for actual gold, like when I start again next time, I think my first main goal is to try to get enough gold that we can get a pickaxe pretty quickly, mine our way down, and then start getting the stuff right off the bat. And I'll do all that stuff by hand because we won't have the money for it. So we'll get a ton that way, and I'm gonna try to see how fast we can go when everything comes out, because there's just so much stuff coming that it's like I have to create another one, especially if I go to the other site and dig up all the dirt there too. Like I gotta create another one, create a new world, a new save. It's just not gonna be an option. Yeah, there's still a glowy bit in there too. Thought maybe that was like the screw up. You can see all the gold. They didn't quite make it. Or how much gold is in there anyways. It's just, and it's such big chunks of gold too. Like I'm looking forward to the larger cauldron size, or the larger, I don't remember what the word for it is. Crucible size, like it has a bigger mouth on it. That's one of the little patches. But yeah, so I took all of those so far that we've taken, that I've combined, so I can have the frame rate not die on me. I threw all of them in a bucket. I cooked up these two, and I took it to town. Didn't make anything special with it because I have more money than I'll ever need at the moment. So I grabbed the gems with me too, but just for all the gold, all the iron and everything we got into this point, plus a little bit that we had before, 5,700, which is not too shabby. That's a good amount of money. Then for all the gems we have, 757. Lots of small objects gone. That's my big thing on this, is like this removes a ton of those little small objects around the base. So maybe this will help the frame rate. But it also, you know, it's like, it's a little bit of money. I wasn't happy with the factor that I combined all my money last time and I couldn't break it up. I mean, that was on me. I wanted to test to see how much it was. I regretted the decision of that. So I threw that in there if I need it. I have that in there if I need it. It's 154,000 in the building house. And then, yeah, it's just a matter of going back. And I'm going to start working on the next project next time, which is the place we've yet to touch. I'll probably, in the interim, maybe start digging a hole so I'm down there. And we'll try to get the last artifact. Maybe I'm going to try. I'm hoping to try to get the last artifact. But I spent so much time on this today and then had to do this whole voiceover part again. Which always just, like... I'm always uncomfortable doing these, to be honest. I'm fine doing a normal recording. When I have to do the voiceover again, it kills me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.